I know nothing.
You ready for Halloween, Mike?
I am ready for Halloween.
Good.
You going to dress up?
I'm already dressed up every day. That's the one day I take off from dressing up.
Ah, nice.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
And now for something special. The unit is self-contained with its own saddler, farrier, wheelwright and so on. It's a rigorous training dished out who know all there is to know about horses, and it brings results.
We take you behind the scenes now to show just some of the interesting aspects of this training.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine, the #1 award-winning podcast to create sounder horses from the ground up. Mike Stine is a registered journeyman farrier with an APF1 accreditation. On this week's show, the difference between white line disease and laminitis. Also, what is your plan? A discussion between a farrier and a body worker. And also, if you're on YouTube right now, Mike Stine's got x-rays of 2 different horses with navicular issues. All this and much more will be discussed here on Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. And over to my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Travis, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am spectacular.
All right, give us a hurricane update.
Well, I have a client whose husband works for a company that does drilling for soil compaction and archaeological work and all that. Mm-hmm. And some of their company was up there at Lake Lure before the storm came, and they pulled back, and the company is involved in recovery and rescue.
Uh-huh.
And they have been hunting for 4 people, and they found people who were trapped and buried and gotten them out of the situation they were in.
Like their body was trapped and buried, or the house was trapped and buried?
No, they found a fellow that was actually trapped in the debris.
Oh, really?
And they found him, and they had to
physically hoist him out of there.
Dig him out of there, you know?
Oh, wow.
And get him out of there safely and get him back to where he could get some medical help.
And I'm sorry, did you say when this happened? What day did this happen on?
Well, this was in I don't know the exact days, but I was working on my client's horses, and she was talking about her husband's company and what they were doing up there. Mm-hmm. And there are people out there on search and recovery. One of our local farriers has gone up there with a church group, and they are doing search and recovery, from what I understand.
So it's still ongoing. I mean,
it will be ongoing for a long time.
Even though the news doesn't cover it right now.
And there's still areas up there where if you're going in there, you got to be are you going to trigger a landslide?
Yeah, and if you guys, like I said before, are a proud sponsor of our show, which is South Carolina Horse Council, you can reach out to Julia over there at schorsecouncil.com.
Everyone that listens to us should put in calls to Julia.
Yes, Julia.
Daily, multiple times a day.
Just ask her how her day's going. But
that's right.
If you don't know who to get in contact with, you can always trust the South Carolina Horse Council over there, and they'll get you hooked up with the right people, and you can trust them and go ahead and join their service. They got a lot of great services over there. So, Mike, I have something to show you. This is something that happened the other day.
Is this a new trick?
No, it's not a new trick. So, hold on. Don't look at it yet. Don't look at it. All right. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video over on YouTube. We have our very own YouTube channel.
Someone hold you.
Hold up, Mike. Don't say nothing yet.
No.
Stop. You obviously do not understand how to do this.
No, apparently not.
All right. So what happened? And you broke into my thing. So if you're over on YouTube, search Equine Dynamics Mike Stine over on YouTube, and you can see all the visuals that we have in here, and you're going to see this visual right here. Now, this is right out front of my house, and we got a knock on the door, and someone rang the bell and said that, hey, by the way, because we sell eggs here. So they were like, hey, by the way, my hay trailer lost the whole left-hand side of the hay. Now, I'm going to switch over to camera 6 here, and you can see how much hay he lost. This is her hay delivery that we had across the street from us. And what are you looking at there, Mike?
Oh, that's it. That's a nice load of hay. Did they give it to you for eggs?
No, I know. I was like I went out there and I said, hey, you put all the hay in the wrong spot. It's supposed to go in the barn, not on the side of the road.
Yeah, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
But this happened right out front of the house. And you can see the guy lost all his hay. And you know where this hay was going?
Where's that?
You know, where's the
down there on that way, yeah.
Where they birth all the standardbred
farm, yes.
Yep, and this is where it was going. And he's like going, I just want you to know that the guy's going to he's going to dump his load, bring the trailer back, and all this hay was sitting out there. And then I said, well, I'm not going to go out there and watch it. You know, are someone going to watch it? Because people fly up and down this road all the time. They're going to think it's like a basically out here in the country, a bag full of cash, but it's in hay currency.
Well, that isn't a bag full of cash. And were they impressed with it coming off the truck?
I don't know. I just thought it was a weird situation. It's one of those things that you don't see normally. You always see like trucks and stuff on the highway flipping over, and there's all like Beanie Babies that spill out, or it's always like weird trucks with weird stuff inside, like hard-boiled eggs, and they're all over the highway. Well, out here in the country, we had a whole bunch of hay that fell on the highway. Now, Mike.
Yes.
Back to the studio here.
Right.
I got you a gift.
Oh, wow.
Hold on, let me switch the camera. Make sure we're on the right camera here. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there you go. I must have done it 15 times. Is that all of them? I think I got them all. All right, so being tis the season, I'm going to hand you this. We got you this for Halloween, and I want you to wear it to your client's house. And I got him a T-shirt, and I want you to unfold it and show the camera what it says. What's it say? He's holding it up. Turn around. What's it say?
Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine.
It's a Halloween T-shirt for the podcast.
Nice.
Do you like that?
I do.
I did design and everything myself.
Nice.
So I want you to wear that next time you go to someone's barn for Halloween. You can go wear that. Wear it and I got the missus one here. So here's an extra one for you.
Nice.
So there you go. So you got 2 shirts, the Halloween season, and I was going to try to get like work in like a Thanksgiving one and a Christmas one and all that stuff. So we'll see how that goes.
I like the Halloween one.
There you go. All right. Well, we got lots to talk about, lots to get into. And don't forget, if you're not on YouTube, go over to YouTube right now. Every podcast we have has a matching video. The whole entire podcast can be found over at YouTube. But you can take us with you on iHeartRadio and Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
Greetings. This is Julia Fisher, Secretary of the South Carolina Horse Council, reaching out to urge you to join your South Carolina State Horse Council. The South Carolina Horse Council is the only statewide, all-volunteer, 501c3 organization that works for the benefit of the equine industry in South Carolina. Our mission is to connect, communicate, and educate. The South Carolina Horse Council represents all breeds, riding styles, and activity preferences. The council works to serve the horse community in a myriad of ways. For example, we help to educate our members, our elected officials, and the general public about the benefits of equestrian activities. South Carolina Horse Council holds clinics throughout the state on topics such as horsemanship, pasture management, equine nutrition, lameness, trailer safety, and barn management. Are you a member yet? Visit schhorsecouncil.com.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. If you have any questions for Mike Stine, or if you'd like to join the podcast, yes, you can join the podcast. You can be right alongside of us here in the studio. The way you do that is go over to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says join the podcast. And once you click on that, Mike, there's a little green bar. I'm sorry, it's orange bar. It's an orange bar. I get the orange bar. I get orange and green in my mind confused. I flip them around all the time. There's an orange bar up there. It says leave a message for Mike Stine. What it does is if you have a device with a camera...
Can I leave a message on it?
You can leave a message on it. If you've got a smart device with a microphone on it, you can speak right into it. You can be anonymous if you want. Just needs an email to make sure that you're not a robot. It comes right to our inbox, and we'll play it on the very next podcast. If you have any questions for Mike Stine, if you just like to do a shout-out, or if you have any information about the hurricanes and you would like to help or know some people that need help or are available with any kind of organization or anything like that, you can do that as well over at the equinedynamics.com. Join the podcast. So do that and be part of the show. And over to my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I have a question for you before we dive into Lyme disease, white Lyme disease, and laminitis.
White lime.
White Lyme. What'd I say?
Line. It's white lime.
Oh.
I don't know. What did you say?
Is it lime or line?
I think it's lime.
I think
I'm messing with you.
I think we pretty much talked ourselves into both of them.
Yeah.
So,
depends on what part of the country you're from.
Exactly. So, do you know what gas colic is?
Yes.
So yesterday,
Gas colic.
well, Dominique, as you know here, that we have here on the property,
Right.
our mare, Amy was like, Dominique was out there kind of lifting up her hind leg and kind of like not pawing at herself, but was like uncomfortable. And she felt Dominique's belly and was like really
bloated.
like really tight. So Amy comes in the house and says, you know, I mean, it's always, you know, it's either 0 or 10 as far as like the stress scale. She comes in, it's 10. Dominique's colicking. And I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? And she's like going, I don't know. I have to go back out there. I've contacted the vet and we're going to go on from there. So 3 hours later, we figured out, or she figured out that it was gas colicking because she didn't show the signs of regular colicking. So she went out in the arena, walked her around the arena a couple times, didn't feed her, fed her a little bit, make sure that she had plenty of water, locked her out and stuff. So, but I don't know. I asked her, I said, what causes gas colic? She's like, it could have been anything that she could have eaten in the pastures.
There seems to be some of that going around because my buddy Nick that works on my trucks, they had one of their ponies kind of do the same thing.
Now, is it a life-ending thing? I mean, of course, if you don't take care of anything, a paper cut could kill you.
Right.
But, I mean, is it something where it's not as serious as regular colic?
Well, I think I'd rather have a case of gas colic than impaction.
Okay, so, all right, so there is a more of a survival rate on gas colic. Because when I hear colic, I think, you know, death. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why I think. But I mean, I guess she was passing and doing her stuff, and she's okay today. She's
Stuff's moving through the system anyway.
Yeah, it's moving. All the gears are moving in there.
Well, if it's not moving, we got a problem.
Yeah. So I was dealing with that for the last 24 hours. So just to give you a heads up behind my world, the screen of my world.
Okay.
So, but we're going to talk about right now. It is white line. White line.
WLD.
Okay. We'll just call it WLD. WLD versus Laminitis. Now, why are we talking about this? And I know we have some x-rays and stuff later on in the show. So why are we bringing this up today outside of...
well, we're kind of going back through some of the lecture from up at Doc Redden's. Mm-hmm. And this showing where a venogram can be used to identify whether some of this is white line or is the damage from laminitis, depending on what shows up with venogram.
Okay.
That sound sort of doable?
Sure.
Sure. You're just saying that.
I'm following your lead, Mike.
Oh, exactly. I got you. I was following your lead.
So why are we talking about white Lyme disease and laminitis outside of the lecture?
Why?
Yes.
Why are we? No, it's just showing how we were speaking about the venograms and all that deal, and that is a way that you can define exactly what's going on using x-rays, using your venograms, and all that sort of deal. And what you're going to get on a really distorted foot with a laminitic horse is going to be different from one that where it's purely purely laminitic, or is the damage from white line being in the wall. And you can have both going on at the same time. And that's where, one place where using the venogram can tell you, give you a good lead on what's happening.
Now you have some pictures and stuff you're going to show us there?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let's switch over to camera. Oh, I don't want that camera there.
That camera.
Yep. So what are we looking at here?
Does this need to be turned over, or am I upside
No, you're
down?
Good. You're good.
I'm not upside down?
You're not.
Okay. Okay, the first picture is just your lateral x-ray. Okay. And you see the distortion. You see that what could be a gas pocket in this area in front of the tip of the coffin bone.
What do you need? Yeah.
I don't know. Where's a pointer?
Here's a pointer.
You took my little box of stuff.
Oh, you want this?
No, I don't want it, but I can take it.
There, you take
but you took my little box of stuff.
Oh, I set it over there. I had someone sitting over there.
I see how you are.
I had someone sitting over there.
But this is a typical lateral x-ray, and if you look at this bone column, it's pretty straight, but we got no depth. We know that. And we've got all this wall stretched out here, and we've got a pocket in here. So is this a gas pocket, or is this a white line pocket? Okay. Then we come back, and we as in someone else who can shoot a good venogram, shoots a venogram, and we see the venogram, we see the circulation here, and all the damage is outside of the lamina. And so that would make this more a case of white line than laminitis. Now the foot is not in good shape, and we don't have depth structurally. We've lost structure, so we need to do something with that. And here's another shot of it, and you can see the lamina, the circulation coming down the front of the coffin bone, and then everything's out front. So this would be WLD, or white line disease.
That second picture in the middle there, Mike, I can see the coffin bone coming right down.
Right.
He probably has, or the horse probably has, a good 1.5 inches in front of that, but it's kind of like elfing up a little bit.
Right. You got the elf toe, it's distorted. You got a hollowed out pocket in here where the white line, the fungus, bacteria, whatever was involved in it, has eaten away at the it's actually not the lamina, between the lamina and the exterior part of the wall, the middle part of the wall, the is what we call the white line, is actually where the lamina comes out of the bottom. But what it does is it eats up in front of that. And of course, after treatment, and what they've done to get the foot in a situation where we can grow some sole, get the pressure off, and grow everything down. And then on this case, we had some white line disease open up on the side, and you can see at the point there's some damage in the lamina at that point. And but this is a DP view, so this would be on the side of the foot, not in the toe. But
now,
we had some later damage.
Now, I'm looking at these pictures that you have, and there's a little stuff in borrow down below. It says, this is 5 months after treatment appeared to be successful. And then the next picture, it says 10 months in medieval, what is it? I can't read it on the screen. Was detected.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there was another white line disease on the side.
Right in this area, we've got damage in the hoof wall. And
then the next picture says a venogram reveals serious compromise, is what we're looking at on that last one there.
Right.
So I mean, this isn't like, and it's just so amazing for me. If you've got a working horse and you have a horse that ends up having this, for example, Diego, who's getting ready to do a championship show here in the next couple weeks. Now, granted, you would catch this way before that.
Sure.
But, when you have a horse that has this disease, 5-10 months is what I'm seeing here as far as just getting it under control.
Well, here's the thing, Travis. With regular farrier care, and I've worked in behind where people had regular farrier care, but, in parts of the country where we have a lot of this, you've got to get used to probing any spot on the foot and going through it and treating it as you go. Because we're in a part of the country where you do see a fair amount of white line damage. And, there are a few things in the top of my toolbox for, maintaining these feet as far as that goes. And if you're in too much of a hurry, you gloss over it, you see a cheesy area, I've got a little probe that stays in my apron so I can clean out and probe down and see what's in there. And, when you're going, you always want to go away from the lamina because you don't want to puncture the lamina when you're cleaning the area out. And if you treat it as you go, it doesn't have to be a big deal. But if I don't know what the maintenance schedule was on this foot. I don't know what was done. I've seen horses where somebody had regular hoof care, but then you ended up with a lot of stuff eaten up in there because it was zip, 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 go. And nobody was probing these areas and looking to see what was in there, and they weren't treating as they go.
That's Billy Bob putting on shoes for, the 6-pack of beer at the end of the day.
Well, maybe. And, but there are a couple things. I got about 3 different products I carry in my shoeing box that I just, if there's anything in question, and I've got a wax that I use under the shoe on normal shoeing that I will run under the shoe just as a preventative. So that people say, well, do you have problems with it? No, and the horses I do regular, I do not have problems because you address it before it happens.
And you're putting on that preventative measure,
right?
That one more step to prevent.
Just one more step, just to make sure, because you expect Diego to go do what Diego does and
win millions.
Win millions, yes, win millions. That's it. Diego's going to make you a multi-unmillionaire.
Another multi-millionaire.
Right. Right.
On top of the other ones I already have.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys, we got a lot more to talk about. Lots to
You
get
must have lots of Monopoly money.
I do. And we're going to get into what a discussion between a farrier and a body worker and what you should be asking and what needs to be known. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back. Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Don't forget, if you have a question for Mike Stine or if you'd like to be part of the podcast, you can do that as well. Join the podcast. Go to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page, it says join the podcast. And you'll see this big orange bar.
Orange bar.
Orange bar. The
color of the pumpkin.
Across the top of that, click on it. If you've got a microphone on whatever device you're listening to us on or at, speak right into it. You can be anonymous if you want. You do have to put your email address in there. It's kind of like a anti-robot or bot type thing. So don't worry, it's not an email grab. We're not going to bother you once you send your thing in, other than talk about you on the air. And when I say talk about you, we're going to answer we're going to answer your question. We're not going to talk bad about anyone. No, Mike.
We'll do that.
We'll do that off the air.
There you go.
We'll save that for off the air. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we also have a YouTube channel as well. You can see the whole entire podcast in its entirety over on Equine Dynamics Mike Stine over on YouTube. Give him a subscribe over there. His followings are getting larger, not physically larger, just in numbers.
Well, some of them may be,
just the numbers are getting larger, and the videos are really taking off, getting over 2,000 to 3,000 views per video. And over to my far hand side, my very own view is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Did you get loaded up on hay while they were coming by?
You know what? The guy I was talking to, and he's like going, well, where do you buy your hay from? And I go, I'll
just pick it up off the side of the road.
I just wait for morons like you to come by and drop a load of hay, and I just hold it for ransom. No, he did take up my mailbox, though. I said I usually go up to southern states there, and we get a couple of the compressed Timothy. We trying to watch the weight on Dominique while she's here, eating, foraging and stuff. So we only give her like a fleck of at night and stuff. So when Amy said that she was going in the colic, I honestly thought, Mike, it was my fault.
Well, everything's your fault.
Because when I'm here in the studio, and if she's at home that day, she'll come out, and I think this was past.
Well, Dominique should be at home every day, right?
She should. Well, no, I'm talking about my wife.
Oh, okay.
When my wife's at home, she had last Monday off. It was a holiday or something like that, and she came out around 5:45 and said, "I'm going down to feed." Now I'm up here in the studio, and I've got these headphones on, and
right.
It's soundproof up here to a certain point. I heard her, and I kind of just went, "Okay," and I was in the middle of editing your show and stuff. And then I have an alarm set on my watch because she's only home 2 days a week. So the other 3 days, I've got to go down and feed. So I went down, my alarm went off, 6:30, went down there, and I fed again, twice. So I was,
oh boy.
I said, babe, I fed and everything. So everything, she's like, I already fed. You didn't hear me? I go, I did, but I didn't realize what you were saying. So I fed her twice within an hour and a half of.
She was a happy horse.
Yeah. So, and then, here she goes into this gas colic thing. And I was like, oh, I'm biting my nails. Did I do this? But I was like, there's no way that
Well, we're going to blame it on you anyway, right?
Just this one feeding could not be just me the one time, as a knucklehead going down there and giving her one fleck of hay and, whatever hand scoop of pellets and stuff that she gets. It couldn't cause that all. It couldn't. No, it couldn't. It couldn't do that. I'm telling myself it couldn't. But she's fine. Dominique's fine and everything. But what's not fine right now is a conversation that farriers and body workers need to have. Now, Mike, we're bringing up this because you ran into a situation where let me switch this camera right here. There you go. Where you you were working on a horse, or there was a horse that you worked on where a body worker came in and says, what is your plan? And so tell us what happened in that conversation.
Well, the deal was I've seen this horse once, and there were some things I did not feel like were where they should be, and I'm trying to get the horse in a better place, or at least I think it's a better place. And so I've done the horse one time. One of the questions, movement problems, and I believe the horse has a little bit of navicular stuff and a little back stuff and a few other things going on, right?
Okay.
So to me, the horse was shod really small and not a lot of support in the back of the foot, and the foot was pulled forward. As we've had that discussion, we've looked at x-rays before, right?
Yes.
So the horse was not real sound. But just to go straight forward with it, I beat on shoes with a hammer when they're hot. But a little bit of a boxy toe, hammer rolled, up the shoe size right off. On the back end, put a little hammer roll in the back shoe, boxed it out, and put a little bit of a rocker in it because the back end was not coming through, and ran a little bit bigger on the lateral support because of the movement pattern of the horse, just to stabilize the leg to get it to flex straight through and forward. So in this, the trainer, I said, how's the horse doing? Oh, definitely better immediately. I said, good. Then maybe we didn't do too bad of a thing. And so we've been 5-6 weeks, whatever our cycle was, come back and shoe the horse. I got addressed by the owner. Now, mind you, I've never seen this horse other than the very first time.
The one time. Okay.
I saw the horse move a little bit, and I was like, don't like the movement pattern. So at this point, I'm going to go back and see how the horse is handling things and go from there. So the address to me was wanting to know exactly what my plan was and exactly how I was going to shoe the horse because of, and this was indirect to the body worker.
Now, when you say the body worker, is that a chiropractor?
Massage therapist.
Massage therapist, okay.
And my answer is at this point is, I don't know. And it's, well, why not? Because I have not seen the horse. I do not know how the horse reacted. I don't know the growth patterns, how this horse is going to grow foot. And I don't know how things are aligned yet. But exactly what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to take a look at the horse and see if the horse's development has changed. Now, you know that between Ray and Chris King and Clyde Caldwell and all that, I've got a lot of bodywork background, and I've massaged and worked a teaching massage at one point with Horseback Basics. So, well, exactly how are you going to shoe the horse? How big of shoes are you going to do? Or are you going to make the shoes? Because the shoes need to be bigger.
So this body worker has no idea that you do this on a as per visit basis. Like you don't have, like I brought this up last week or week before. You don't have, all right, this is week number 1 shoe, this is week number 2 shoe, this is week number, you don't have that kind of plan.
Well, the thing is, like, as far as how much are you going to expand the shoes, depends on how the foot is reacting. And I do not know that until I get to the horse. Well, how do you know how you, and this was going back and forth. It was not directly with the body. It would have been better if we had communicated directly with each other, if that's what we needed to do.
So were you going owner, body worker, owner, back to you?
So this is a little bit like a game of telephone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then back to you.
Right. And on the other end, I've seen this horse one time. I have not seen how this horse is moving this day. And I have not heard the horse walk into the barn, and I have not looked at the horse, and I have not laid a hand on the horse. So one of the first things, bring the horse in. Is the muscling better or worse? If so, why? Okay. Key areas that I want to touch on the horse. What does it feel like? Is it better or worse? If so, why? And answer that question all the way to the horse, and then we watch the horse move. And, okay, is the horse progressing where we are, or do we need to really go in another direction?
Would it be rude for you to say to the owner, can I talk to the body worker? Can you give the body worker my number and we can have this discussion?
No, that's not rude at all.
Okay.
And
that's what I would say. I was like,
right.
If that was my job, if my job was a farrier, and here I am playing, like you said, telephone I said, could you do me a favor? Can you just give me the body worker's number, or give my number to the body worker and have them call me, and then you can build up a relationship, and the two of you together can approach it, her from the top, or her or him from the top, and you from underneath.
Well, it's kind of like, I've got vets that I work with that will shoot an x-ray. I'll get a message. You've got x-rays coming on said horse. Boom, boom, boom. This is what's going on. Get a phone call before they even get back to the clinic. I've got other situations where I had the vet out. The vet shot an X-ray. Okay. Have we got the X-ray? Well, the vet's got the X-ray. Okay, so what is going on with the X-ray? And you call the vet clinic, you send the vet clinic, and I will say this because this does happen. No response. And you go back to the owner and you're working on the horse, and well, we do have X-rays. Okay, that's nice. Did you pay for them?
Have they released them to you?
Have they released them to you? Well, no. Okay, so what do the X-rays look like?
Well, it's a horse and a foot.
It's a horse and exactly.
Spooky horse foot.
At that point, we're, but they say that whatever, right. So it's not even like looking at the Rorschach ink blot test, but with the vets that I work well with, we are communicating when I've got something going on with a horse that I'm working with them on. I communicate. Boom, this is what's going on. Sometimes the vets I communicate with most, a lot of my communication is with their lead vet tech, who is out on all the lameness cases anyway.
So when you were talking to the owner, did it sound like the owner was more concerned or the body worker was more concerned?
I don't know. I don't know. And
you're like you said, you're just playing you're just getting the message, relaying the message, I guess.
It's like, what? Well, are you going to put a different shoe on? If so, what kind?
I don't know.
I do not know.
We haven't. If you can see 6 weeks in the future as far as what this horse's foot's going to do, by all means, yes, you can be.
I've got a turban with a crystal on top.
Be Kreskin.
And but. I mean, there's no problem with communicating with body workers or anyone else.
Right.
And even as far as that goes, it's like, speaking with her, I said, getting this horse moving better as the back changes, your saddle fit's going to change. And they've already realized that. They've got a saddle that is at the barn they're using until the horse gets moving and has some development. Then they're going to start deciding on saddles. I thought that's a good move, because if you bought a saddle to fit a lame horse, you're saddling the horse to be lame,
right?
And you realize that when the horse gets moving, as the back builds up, we need a saddle to fit for a sound horse. Because if you got a saddle that's trapping a horse's back down, well, that's interfering with what's going on with the feet.
All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, if you're not on the YouTube and watching us on YouTube, now's a great chance to go over there, because we have a whole bunch of x-rays of a couple different horses that are dealing with navicular issues. So stick around. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. He'll be right back.
Greetings again from the South Carolina Horse Council. Our horse welfare programs offer small grants to equine owners who are struggling financially for specific veterinary bills. First, our Stallions to Geldings funding acknowledges the benefits of gelding your animal, and once the application is attested to by the vet and approved, it provides direct payments to your vet for gelding services. This is an important resource and has been able to assure that hundreds of equines in the state, horses, donkeys, and mules, have received quality care. Our euthanasia program helps with final arrangements for those owners who may be struggling with end-of-life arrangements for their equine partners and lack adequate resources. Funds do not cover disposal, but once approved, can provide direct-to-the-vet payments for managing euthanasia expenses. Are you a member yet? Visit schorsecouncil.com.
Welcome back to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. And if you're too shy to speak on the join the podcast section, that's okay. You can always email Mike at any time. Go to Equine Dynamics, same page, equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page says contact us. There's a little drop-down menu, says fill out this little form. And make sure you put a physical return address, and we'll send you out some magnets, some stickers. We have some swag and stuff just for being part of the show. And don't forget, even though even those that leave us a voice message that comes to the podcast, we'll reach out to you and get you some free stuff as well. So you're not going to be left out during this time. And over to my far right side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And, you know, what was so nice, those guys that dropped the hay and they took out my mailbox. I mean, completely took out the mailbox.
We don't have to worry about people giving you bills now.
No.
That was good.
And the thing was, he goes, you know, sorry, you know, we'll get it all cleaned up and stuff. And you lost your mailbox. So my wife goes, I know what you're doing, you know, tomorrow. And I was like, I know. I'll go out there and fix the mailbox. And sure enough, I guess they didn't knock it down. We didn't cement it in the ground. It just knocked it out of the hole. So I guess they kind of stood it up and propped it up, and they could have packed a couple bales of hay around it just to
make festive look for the fall. Yeah,
for fall time.
Put some pumpkins on it.
But anyways, they stood the mailbox back up, and I'm sure as soon as a big truck goes flying by, it'll probably just fall right over again. But still, at least they made the effort. But they cleaned everything up. I wish they would have thrown like 1 or 2 bales of hay our way just for the inconvenience. But you know what? I say that and then I take that back, because my wife's real particular about what she feeds the horses. Right. So he might have not known. He might have made the good decision of saying, no, you know, you might not want this hay because it's geared for whatever the standard breds that are down there.
Yeah, I ended up with a round bell on the side of the road in front of the house that nobody came back and got. So I wrapped a chain around it and hooked it to the tractor and dragged it out of the ditch. And
you guys ate on that for weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Made hay soup and hay stew and hay, scrambled eggs and hay.
Right, exactly.
All right. Now, if you're not watching this on YouTube, now's a great chance to go over there, and you're going to see a whole bunch of different x-rays that Mike and his Mrs. Mike has taken. And what?
Yep. These are...
I'm listening. Are you waiting for me?
Right.
Okay.
The first x-rays were some I was sent to look at on a horse.
Now, you didn't. I didn't
take any x-rays.
I know you didn't take any picture. I mean, physical with your camera of the screen of the board. You took pictures of the...
I didn't even do that.
Oh, okay.
They were emailed.
Let's start it this way. So we have a couple pictures here that Mike was gifted to look at and to evaluate as far as what to do with the horses and what's next for these horses. So what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is a lateral view, and this horse has some navicular issues. And if you look at the foot, all in all, that's not a terrible looking foot, but is the alignment slightly broken backwards? Possibly so. If the horse is uncomfortable and the horse has navicular, we would want to do something as a leverage reducer.
See, me looking at this horse, this x-ray right here.
Right.
This looks like a
foot.
It looks like a very, very good foot. I see lots of foot underneath. I see the coffin bone is at a good 45, 43 degree angle, give or take a
50,
degree.
Yeah, whatever.
And the
dorsal alignment's not bad at all.
Short passion and long passion are pretty much in sync.
Pretty much. Could be a little bit better alignment.
So, I mean, but we can all be, you know, I wish I was a little bit taller.
Your lamina's not stretched out.
No, exactly.
Really.
So, I mean, what exactly is wrong with this foot?
Well, the problem is apparently this horse has some navicular pain.
So it's a
where the flexor tendon wraps around that navicular bone, and what we can do is reduce the leverage, if nothing else, to try to get some of the pressure off of that area.
So this is another picture, same or the other foot.
This is the other foot, and this foot leans more towards the clubby side.
Yeah, this one looks and this is the same horse.
The same horse, different foot. Yeah, it's a high-low situation.
This foot,
if you look at the pasture, it sits forward in the hoof.
Yeah, this foot looks really bad.
Right, so you got a lot of pressure on the toe. Toe runs forward, and so then we got to start looking at some of the same issues with the navicular type deal, but also looking at where do we need to go as far as the distortion with the foot itself. And so this gives us an idea where we are on sole depth and what all before we ever even touch the horse. Because this horse on this foot could get inflamed around the tip of that coffin bone just from some lack of depth and damage. And your horses that are on the upright side will do that. So that's something that, as far as when I work on when the horse is worked on, this is something that you need to think about before you do anything and start preparing for the job. What do we need to do to work around that?
Now, have you gone out to physically seen this horse yet?
I've not seen this horse in person.
So you're getting ready to.
I don't know that yet either.
Okay, so
we've just swapped some pictures and back and forth, and
given
no dates have been set at this point.
And given your evaluation on
right.
Yeah, okay. All right. So and that's one horse. That's horse number 1.
Right.
So this is horse number 2.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
This is a very similar situation, and the feet were wanting to start forward, and this horse definitely has some navicular issues, but at this point, this horse is quite happy and riding. And this was a case that was a podiatry referral through Dr. Radkin, and the horse has been out to Fernando at what's Fernando call his house? 3D Vet Clinic, I think. Fernando Cardenas took some X-rays, but anyway, there is a leather on top of the rocker shoe. There's not a lot of the bevel built in, added into the shoe a little bit, but that's a low grade rocker, and he is happy and he's riding. But what that does is physically, as far as down pressure, unloads that area. He's kind of floating in the middle of the foot, and it rolls across the front, so you're not torquing against that navicular issue. The body weight, if it's placed correctly, when he loads it, it actually raises the angle of the foot a little bit.
It looks like he's standing on a frisbee.
He is standing on a frisbee. He wants to fly. But no, this is a rocker shoe format, and because the foot was distorting forward, and we had some separation. You can see a little bit of that bottom edge where we had some separation in that wall from where I got there, down right there at the very bottom of the toe. Down right there. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of the last separation coming out, and as that grows down, we'll adjust as far as how we're fitting things and keep him happy and keep the foot going, but we don't want the foot distorting forward again.
Now this is the back version.
Actually that's shot from the front to the back.
That's what I meant.
But you're kind of looking at the joint spacing and how what your medial lateral balance is. And if you look at the foot, the one that has the straighter side is to the middle of the horse. The side that is sloped out more is to the outside.
Okay,
that makes sense. So, and you're shooting from the front towards the back. So this would be like your left front.
All right, and this is the other foot?
And that is the other foot, and there again, very similar situation. Same type of shoeing format. If you look at that bone column alignment, it's pretty straight up and down.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, right there in between the long pastern and short pastern, to me that's broken back, and we're splitting hairs on it, just a shade. So I wouldn't mind if it came up about a half a degree more. And that's going to change depending on where the horse is standing with the foot and terrain. There again, a little bit of separation down on that bottom edge of the toe.
I can see it right here. It looks like
that's the very last of it, because I've worked on this guy a few times.
Looks like a mouth.
Looks like a mouth. Yeah, there's also a leather in there. That's the bottom of the mouth.
Okay.
So that has pretty well worked itself out, and so we don't have separation in the wall at this point. So he's a happy guy. He is doing some light riding, and he was not before. And the other horse, the plan is to, don't know that the same thing will be done on that horse. Got to look at situations and how we're going to go there. But that horse also, we want to get back doing some light riding and happy and pumping a little blood through its feet, correct?
To be determined.
To be determined, yes.
All right, guys. Stick around. When we come back, one more little segment, and we'll wrap up the show. You're listening to Equine Dynamics with Mike Stine.
Here at the South Carolina Horse Council, our membership dues are affordably priced for individuals, families, farms, and businesses. Lifetime membership options mean you'll never have to worry about missing that annual renewal deadline to remain in good standing. Membership in the South Carolina Horse Council offers a number of important benefits. The council offers $1 million worth of personal excess liability insurance at an affordable group rate to all of our members, whether you're a resident of the state of South Carolina or not. We have compiled a trails booklet with all public trails listed and mapped within the state, available to new members for free or upon request for the cost of the postage. Our website provides updates for emergency preparedness on evacuation sites for equines in the event of hurricanes, floods, or other natural disasters. Visit schorsecouncil.com.
Dynamics with Mike Stine. Don't forget, we can perform this podcast at your location. If you've got a barn, if you've got a special event, if you got a little garage sale, if you got a little lemonade stand, and you like the Equine Dynamics podcast to perform this show at your clinic, at your location, you can do that by going to equinedynamics.com. At the top of the page, it's clinics. Fill that out. We'll schedule you a date, and we'll team up together, and we can do this right there in your very front yard if you'd like. And also, if you'd like to be heard, well, we'd love to hear from you. And the way you can be part of the show is while you're on the equinedynamics.com page. It says join the podcast. Click on that. You can see all the past shows that you might have missed. Get caught up on those. And you can see all the uploaded videos, the latest videos as well. And you can leave a message from Mike Stine. Little orange bar across the top. It says, leave a message for Mike Stine. Speak into your device. Comes right to our inbox. You can be anonymous if you want. You can leave your name in there as well. We'll mention that on the air. And you can ask Mike Stine a question, and we'll answer it on the air, and we'll send you out some free stuff. And over on my far hand side is Mike Stine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Travis. How are you?
Doing all right. So what did we learn today, Mike?
Don't stick your finger in the light socket.
What? All right, Mike. What did we learn today?
White.
No.
What did we learn today? What did we learn today?
Your tagline is...
What?
All right, hold on. Mike, what did we learn today?
What did we learn today?
There you go. I'm going to have to hand you cue cards. The difference between WLD, which is white Lyme disease, either one.
What?
I'm going to say Lyme disease, versus Laminitis. Why are we talking about those, and why are they together in a sentence?
Well, we're looking at how you can define if it is Laminitis or white Lyme by use of a venogram. And that makes a difference in how the foot will come out in the end. And
the very importance of getting a venogram.
Right.
And also a discussion between your farrier and your body worker, and what's your plan? Well,
it's best if we communicate direct. It gets rather confusing communicating through other people. And, all the professionals involved need to communicate. If the body worker is picking up on something that I have not seen in the horse, I need to know what's going on.
And I can see, not necessarily that this current owner that we're talking about, but I could see some owners going, let's say the body worker goes, well, I need to do this and this and this. I need to learn about this. And if the owner hears something that they don't want you to know, they're going to withhold that information from you.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, no, the body worker said everything's good. Continue doing what you're doing. Meanwhile, this horse has got some other issue, which I'm sure as your profession would grab and get a hold of or see during your whole test and everything that you do. But, I mean, you need to have direct communication. Something will get lost. Something might get withheld. Something might be involved or indulged a little bit more than it should be, that type deal.
Right. Yeah, it gets a little too twisted.
Correct.
And it's best to communicate direct.
Direct connect.
Direct connect.
And also the 2 X-rays that we had of these ponies. Let me go back to
up front. They were similar situations.
Yep. Let's go back to this real quick so everyone can see it. We can all be friends here. This one right here is where the horse doesn't. I mean, the foot doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty darn good.
But the horse has some navicular issues, A. And B, when you get to that other foot, we definitely got some distortion that's running away from us.
And don't get confused. This is not a venogram. This is just a regular X-ray. If you had a venogram, you would be able to see the actual issues that were going on.
And you can even see count the age of the rings of the tree and see how old the tree is.
That's the block that the horse's foot's sitting on. And here's the one that actually looks pretty bad.
Right. And so there's your upright foot. or your clubby foot. The pastern sits forward in it. We got the distortions.
Little tippy toes.
You got an area where you could end up with some WLD out front because of the distortions forward, and stressing the foot apart. So that's that foot needs to be gotten happier.
And then also, this is not that one. This is the X-rays that Dr. Ratkin sent over to you.
These actually came from Fernando, but this is a horse that Dr. Ratkin had referred to me.
Now we're going to have Dr. Ratkin on next week's show.
Right,
is that correct? All right, so make sure you tune in for that as well. All right, guys, on that note, we're going to let you get back to enjoying your ponies. On behalf of Mike Stine over there.
Yeah, have a good day. Have fun with the horses, and see you next week.
My name is Travis Stine. See you next week.
Dream of someone.
And we're good.
I'm sorry I messed up.
Hi, Lucky. Good night, Ned. Good night, Ned.